Hi, Tim Tucker here from United Way Central Ohio Tax Time Training. This is part 5 in our series on the Ohio School District Income Tax. In this video, we will discuss mistaken school district tax withholding. In this video, we will show how to tell if school district tax was mistakenly held. We will complete a 2025 SD100 to obtain a refund for the school district tax that was mistakenly withheld. And we will advise the taxpayer on how to prevent this problem from happening in the future. The steps to follow are: step 1, prepare the federal and Ohio return as normal. As part of this step, you'll identify the non-taxing school district where the taxpayer resided. In step 2, we'll identify that school district tax was mistakenly withheld from one or more W-2. In step 3, we will add the SD100 to the return and include all the non-taxing school districts that were identified in step 1. In step 4, we'll exit the Ohio return and generate a PDF. We will then go through the PDF and verify that the SD100 shows an overpayment or a refund of the school district tax that was mistakenly withheld. And in step 5, we'll provide some general follow-up advice to the taxpayer to prevent this from happening in the future. Let's go through a basic example. Our taxpayer is John Brown. He's got this one W-2. We have verified using the finder that John Brown lives in Columbus and is in the Columbus City School District. We already completed step 1. Now in step 2, we will identify that school district tax was mistakenly withheld from one or more W-2. While doing the intake interview with John, or while preparing the return and entering the W-2 into TaxSlayer, we noticed that school district tax was withheld from John's W-2 for school district 2509. So we look up 2509 in the IT 1040 instructions. As per the snippet shown here, we see that's for Reynoldsburg. So we asked John, did you live in Reynoldsburg at any time during the school year? And John will, in this case, tells us, no, I lived in Columbus the entire year. So we know in this case we have school district tax that was mistakenly withheld for Reynoldsburg on John's W-2. In step 3, we will add the SD100 to the return and include all the non-taxing school districts that John Brown lived in that we identified in step 1, which in this simple case is simply Columbus. The one thing to point out here is we're adding an SD100 to the return even though the taxpayer did not live in a taxing school district, and that's because of this mistaken withholding. We will now add the SD100 to the return. In the state section, I will click on localities, Ohio SD100. This is always resident. The county is going to be the same as down the Ohio return, which in this case is Franklin. School district is the Columbus City School District because that's the only place that John Brown lived in tax year 2025. So that's Franklin County, Columbus City School District. And as far as his residency status, we know that he was a full year resident of Columbus. And that is all we need to do. We will now click continue and back until we exit out of the return, out of the Ohio portion of the return rather. We'll continue to see if there's any errors. No errors, good. For step 4, we'll exit the Ohio return and generate a PDF. On the PDF, we will verify the SD100 shows an overpayment of the school district tax that was mistakenly withheld. As we can see in the summary section, it shows an $85 refund, which is what we were expecting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the SD100 to see if it makes sense to us. So I will scroll down to the SD100. And we can see that it shows that John Brown lived in 2503. That's the Columbus City School District. And that's the only school district he lived in, which is correct. And then there is nothing in the traditional tax base or earned income tax base because he had no income in a taxing school district. But what we can see here is that it shows that the total tax liability for traditional and earned income is zero. And it shows that he had $85 of school district tax withheld. Therefore, he's going to be getting an $85 refund. In step 5, we will give some follow-up advice to the taxpayer. Some follow-up advice to give to the taxpayer in this situation. We should advise the taxpayer to contact their HR department to stop the school district withholding. If time permits, ask about prior years. We've seen cases where this has been going on for several years where the taxpayer has had school district tax mistakenly withheld and they didn't know it. So if we can pursue returns from earlier years, let's do that. And if we find out that's the case, let's investigate whether we can do an amendment. Some parting thoughts. Be aware of any school district tax withholding we see on the W-2. And if we see that, make sure we can correlate that with where the taxpayer actually lived to determine if there is mistaken withholding. If there is mistaken withholding, we should advise the taxpayer how to prevent that from happening in the future. And we should consider amending past years if this has been a recurring problem. Thanks for watching part 5 of this video series. Please continue on with part 6 and earlier parts in the series. Links to FAQs and useful websites are posted in the description below this video. If you've got questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube channel for the video, ping me on Slack, or send email to timmythetaxman@gmail.com.